When you grow old, 5 things to let go of immediately for a happier life. As we journey through the golden years, life often offers us a profound opportunity to reflect, embrace what truly matters, and let go of the burdens that weigh us down. For those of us aged 65 and beyond, happiness isn't found in possessions or accomplishments. It's rooted in peace of mind, meaningful relationships, and the joy of living in the present. To truly savor this chapter of life, there are 5 things we must let go of. These burdens, while once significant, no longer serve us and only hinder the joy and serenity we deserve. Here's how to lighten your heart and find happiness as you grow old. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. 1. Let go of resentment. Resentment is a thief that quietly steals our peace, joy, and health. It roots itself deep in our hearts, nurtured by memories of betrayal, hurtful words, or actions we deemed unfair. Over time, it can harden into a weight so heavy that it stifles our ability to live fully and love freely. Yet, holding on to resentment feels oddly familiar, almost like protecting an old wound. We think if we let go, we're letting someone off the hook. But the truth is, holding on to resentment doesn't punish the person who wronged us, it punishes us. When you hold on to resentment, it's like clutching a burning coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else, but all it does is scorch your own hand. That anger, that bitterness, it seeps into the corners of your mind, shows up in your thoughts when you least expect it, and can even manifest in physical ailments. Science has shown that harboring resentment can contribute to stress, anxiety, and even heart disease. But beyond the physical toll, it robs us of something even more precious, our emotional freedom. Forgiveness is often misunderstood. It doesn't mean excusing or forgetting what someone did. It doesn't mean inviting them back into your life. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself, a declaration that the pain inflicted by someone else no longer has power over you. It's choosing to release the grip of anger so you can hold on to something far more valuable: peace. Imagine what it would feel like to truly let go. Think about the person or situation that still haunts your thoughts. Perhaps it's an old friend who betrayed your trust, a family member whose words cut too deeply, or even a younger version of yourself who made choices you now regret. Picture setting that burden down, watching it fade into the distance. How light would you feel? How free? The act of letting go doesn't happen overnight. It begins with acknowledging the hurt. Say to yourself, yes, this happened. It hurt deeply, and it mattered. Give yourself permission to grieve, to feel anger, to process the emotions tied to that memory. But then remind yourself that you don't live there anymore. The hurt may be part of your story, but it doesn't define the rest of your journey. Forgiveness is an ongoing practice, not a one-time event. On some days, it will feel easier than others. Some mornings, you might wake up and feel the sting of old wounds, but on others, you'll notice the pain feels lighter. Celebrate those moments. They are proof that you're healing. Letting go of resentment also involves rethinking the story you tell yourself about the past. Ask yourself, what have I learned from this? How has it shaped the person I am today? Sometimes, the greatest growth comes from our deepest wounds. Resentment loses its power when we can look at those experiences not just as scars, but as reminders of our resilience. To let go of resentment is to reclaim your power. It's standing up and saying, I will no longer allow this pain to dictate my life. It's a bold act of self-love and an invitation to live fully in the present. After all, the people who hurt you don't deserve a place in your thoughts any longer. They don't deserve to steal your joy. Letting go isn't about them. It's about you, your peace, and your happiness. Imagine your life unburdened by anger. Picture yourself smiling more freely, laughing more fully, and feeling lighter in your heart. Resentment may have walked with you for years, but it doesn't have to stay. Today can be the day you start loosening its grip. One breath, one thought, one act of forgiveness at a time. You've carried this weight long enough. It's time to let it go. For your health, for your joy, for you. 2. Let go of past sorrows. The past is a place we visit often, a realm filled with laughter and light, but also shadows of sorrow and loss. For many of us, the most difficult part of aging is not the years accumulating behind us, but the memories we carry. The weight of past sorrows, lost opportunities, fractured relationships, or the aching absence of loved ones can feel unbearable at times. Yet, to dwell in the past is to miss the beauty of the present and the promise of what still lies ahead. Letting go of past sorrows doesn't mean erasing them or pretending they didn't happen. It means recognizing that life is a mosaic of moments, both joyful and painful, and choosing to focus on the colors that brighten your days. The sorrows of the past, while formative, don't deserve the power to overshadow the moments of joy and peace you can still create. Life, after all, isn't about forgetting. It's about learning how to carry the memories without letting them weigh you down. Think about the moments that haunt you. Perhaps a regret over something left unsaid, a decision you wish you could undo, or a loved one you lost too soon. These sorrows are threads in the tapestry of your life, but they are not the whole story. They are chapters, not the final act. Grieving is natural and necessary, but staying anchored to sorrow can keep you from experiencing the fullness of life that remains. Imagine a garden after a storm. Some branches are broken, flowers have been trampled, and the soil is scattered. Yet, with care and attention, new life emerges. The same is true for your heart. Past sorrows may have left their mark, but they don't have to define the garden of your life. New joys can bloom if you give them space to grow. The process of letting go starts with acceptance. Accept that what happened cannot be changed. Accept that sorrow is a part of being human, a testament to how deeply you have loved, how fully you have lived, but also accept that you have the strength to move forward, to honor the lessons those sorrows have taught you while leaving the pain behind. Focusing on the present can be your greatest act of healing. Today, you have the chance to breathe in the crisp morning air, feel the warmth of the sun on your face, and hear the laughter of those around you. Each of these moments is a gift, one that sorrow can blind us to if we let it. By letting go of past grief, you open your heart to the small, quiet joys of everyday life. There's also power in reframing your story. Instead of seeing the past as a collection of wounds, view it as proof of your resilience. You've survived heartache, endured loss, and continued to move forward. Each sorrow has made you stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. Letting go doesn't mean dismissing your pain. It means acknowledging that your story is so much more than its saddest chapters. Perhaps the hardest part of letting go is the fear that in doing so, you're losing the connection to what you've lost. But letting go of sorrow doesn't mean letting go of love. The love remains. It always will. It's a part of you, a quiet strength that fuels your days. By choosing to focus on the love instead of the loss, you honor the people and moments that have shaped you. Letting go of past sorrows is not a betrayal of your memories. It's an act of courage. It's telling yourself that while you carry the past within you, you also deserve to live fully in the present. You are not defined by what you've lost, but by how you choose to embrace what remains. As you breathe in this moment, let the past rest gently in its place. You've given it enough of your time, your tears, your heart. Now, turn your face to the sunlight of today. Let the sorrows of yesterday drift into the background where they belong so that the beauty of now can take center stage. Life is waiting. Step forward and embrace it. 3. Let go of meaningless relationships. Life, as it progresses, has a way of revealing what truly matters and who truly matters. When we are younger, we often find ourselves surrounded by a crowd, friends, colleagues, acquaintances, and even fleeting companions who come and go. In those days, it can feel like the more connections we have, the richer our lives must be. But as the years pass and we grow older, we begin to see the truth. It is not the quantity of relationships that brings us joy, but the quality of the connections we hold dear. Some relationships no longer serve us, and that's okay. Not every person we meet is meant to stay in our lives forever. Time has a way of revealing who brings light to our days and who casts shadows over them. By the time we reach our golden years, it becomes essential to make a choice. Do we continue carrying relationships that weigh us down, or do we free ourselves to focus on the ones that truly nurture our souls? Letting go of meaningless relationships isn't about bitterness or judgment. It's about self-respect. It's about acknowledging that your time and energy are precious and that they should be invested in people who value you as much as you value them. You don't have to hold on to every acquaintance from your past simply because they've been there a long time. Longevity doesn't always equal loyalty or love. Some connections have run their course, and there is grace in recognizing that. Think about the people in your life. Are there those who uplift you, who make you smile, who remind you of your worth? These are the relationships to treasure. And then, are there those who drain you, who bring negativity, who leave you feeling unseen or unimportant? These are the relationships to reconsider. It doesn't mean ending things with hostility. It means stepping back and prioritizing your well-being. By letting go of meaningless relationships, you make room for deeper connections. Sometimes, holding on to what is comfortable can prevent you from finding what is truly meaningful. Imagine the space you could create for new friendships, for rekindled bonds with loved ones, or even for deepening your relationship with yourself. In the absence of superficial ties, your heart and mind become open to what truly fulfills you. The act of letting go can feel daunting. You may fear hurting others, or you may feel guilt for stepping away. But remember this: caring for yourself is not selfish, it's necessary. The people who genuinely care about you will understand your choice, and those who don't were never truly invested in your happiness to begin with. Meaningful relationships don't always have to be numerous. They just need to be genuine. A single friend who truly listens, a child or grandchild who shares moments of laughter, or a neighbor who stops by just to check in. These are the connections that bring richness to life. It's not about grand gestures or constant attention. It's about the quiet assurance that you are cared for, respected, and loved. As you reflect on your relationships, consider this: life is too short to spend with people who don't see your value. Surround yourself with those who celebrate your presence, who bring out your best self, and who make your days brighter. And in turn, be that person for others. Meaningful relationships are not one-sided. They are mutual, built on trust, kindness, and respect. Letting go of meaningless relationships is not a loss. It's a gain. It's gaining freedom from negativity, from obligation, and from the weight of carrying connections that no longer bring joy. It's making space for love, laughter, and the kind of companionship that makes life worth living. You deserve to spend these years surrounded by people who truly matter. Choose wisely, with an open heart and a clear mind. Let go of what doesn't serve you and hold tightly to what does. In doing so, you'll find yourself living not just with contentment, but with a profound sense of peace and fulfillment. 4. Let go of empty pride and titles. As the years pass and the roles we once played begin to fade, We may find ourselves clinging to the titles and accolades that defined us. These badges of honor, our job titles, achievements, or social positions once brought us pride, a sense of identity, and recognition. They marked our successes, our sacrifices, and the roles we held in the world. But as life moves forward, the need to hold on to those symbols can become a burden, obscuring the deeper meaning of who we truly are. Letting go of empty pride and titles doesn't mean dismissing the accomplishments of the past. It means recognizing that your value isn't tied to what you once were, but to who you are today. The truth is, titles are fleeting. They may have brought you status or respect in a particular chapter of life, but they don't define your worth in this moment. What defines you now is the legacy you create through your actions, your kindness, and your presence. Think about the weight that pride can carry when it is rooted in outdated roles or comparisons. A retired CEO who still introduces themselves by their former position may feel a sense of accomplishment, but they may also find themselves disconnected from the present. Clinging to past titles can create a barrier between who you were and who you have the potential to become. It can tether you to a world that no longer exists, leaving you yearning for relevance in a way that feels hollow. There is a profound liberation in letting go of these old labels. By doing so, you allow yourself to embrace the simplicity and beauty of the present. You are no longer a former anything. You are simply you in all your wisdom, experience, and authenticity. This moment, stripped of titles and expectations, is where your true self can shine. Letting go of pride doesn't mean losing dignity or self-respect. It means releasing the need to prove your worth through external validation. You are not the sum of your achievements or the roles you've played. You are the laughter you share with friends, the love you give to your family, and the wisdom you pass on to the next generation. These intangible gifts far outweigh any title or accolade. When we let go of pride, we also make room for deeper connections with others. Pride rooted in titles or status can create walls between us and those we care about. It can prevent us from showing vulnerability, asking for help, or admitting when we're wrong. By setting aside these facades, we invite authenticity into our relationships. We become more approachable, more relatable, and ultimately more fulfilled. It's also important to recognize that letting go of titles doesn't diminish what you've accomplished. Your contributions to the world, whether in a career, a community, or a family, remain significant. They don't disappear when you stop naming them. Instead, they live on in the lives you've touched and the impact you've made. Consider the story you want to tell about your life now. Do you want it to be a list of titles and achievements? Or do you want it to reflect the richness of your character, the love you've shared, and the legacy you've built through the way you've treated others? The most profound achievements in life are often the quietest. A relationship mended, a grandchild taught a lesson, or a friend comforted in a time of need. Letting go of empty pride is not a loss. It's an act of courage and self-awareness. It allows you to step into this new chapter of life with confidence, unburdened by the past and open to the opportunities of the present. It's a recognition that your worth doesn't come from a title, but from the person you've become through all of life's trials and triumphs. As you release the need to define yourself by what you've done, you'll find that who you are is more than enough. In this stage of life, there's no need for pretense or posturing. Embrace the freedom that comes with being simply and authentically you. You've earned it. 5. Forgive yourself and others. Forgiveness is one of the most profound acts of healing, yet it is often the hardest to extend, especially to ourselves. As we journey through life, we accumulate not only the joys of living, but also the scars of mistakes, regrets, and relationships that didn't turn out as we had hoped. These scars, if left unhealed, can weigh heavily on our hearts, keeping us tethered to pain and preventing us from embracing the peace we deserve. Forgiving yourself is perhaps the most essential yet overlooked form of self compassion. We tend to hold ourselves to impossible standards, replaying moments when we feel we failed to act, failed to say the right thing, or failed to live up to our own or others' expectations. Over time, this self blame can harden into a relentless inner critic, whispering words of judgment when we most need kindness. But consider this: you are human, and being human means being imperfect. Perfection was never the goal. Growth, learning, and love are. To forgive yourself is to embrace your humanity. It's to say, I did the best I could with what I knew at the time. It's to honor your journey and recognize that every misstep was a part of your growth. Imagine speaking to your younger self, not with anger or disappointment, but with the same gentleness you would show a child learning to walk. Remind yourself that you were always trying, even when it didn't turn out as planned. You cannot rewrite the past, but you can choose to view it with compassion instead of criticism. Extending forgiveness to others can be equally transformative. We've all been hurt by someone, perhaps a friend who betrayed us, a loved one who let us down, or even a stranger whose actions left a lasting impact. These wounds often linger, not because they are fresh, but because we revisit them, nursing the pain as if holding on to it will somehow right the wrong. But holding on to anger or resentment is like chaining yourself to a rock and expecting the other person to feel the weight. In truth, the only person who suffers is you. Forgiving others doesn't mean excusing their behavior or pretending the hurt didn't happen. It means releasing the hold their actions have over your peace of mind. It's choosing to let go of the anger that keeps you bound to them so you can move forward unencumbered. Forgiveness is not a gift to the person who hurt you, it's a gift to yourself. A declaration that you will no longer let the past dictate your present. This act of letting go is not always easy. There will be moments when the old pain resurfaces, when the memories sting as if they happened yesterday. In those moments, remind yourself that forgiveness is a process, not a destination. It's a practice you return to again and again, each time loosening the grip of the hurt just a little more. Over time, you'll notice the pain feels lighter, the anger less sharp, and the peace within you stronger. Forgiveness also requires perspective. As you reflect on those who hurt you, consider their humanity too. Were they acting out of their own pain, ignorance, or fear? This doesn't excuse their actions, but it can help you see them as flawed individuals rather than villains. Often understanding the why behind someone's actions can make it easier to let go of the what. In forgiving them, you're not condoning their behavior, you're choosing to stop carrying the weight of it. Ultimately, forgiveness is a profound act of freedom. It's about setting yourself free from the prisons of guilt, anger, and resentment that can keep you stuck in the past. It's about reclaiming your power and choosing peace over pain. Whether it's forgiving yourself for a mistake you made years ago or forgiving someone who hurt you deeply, each act of forgiveness is a step toward a lighter, freer life. As you move through this stage of life, remember that forgiveness doesn't change the past, but it transforms the future. It clears the path for joy, connection, and a sense of wholeness that cannot coexist with resentment. You've carried these burdens long enough. Now is the time to set them down. Forgive yourself for the times you didn't know better. Forgive others for their imperfections, just as you hope to be forgiven for yours. And in doing so, step into a life that is not defined by what has been lost or broken, but by what still remains to be cherished and celebrated. Forgiveness isn't just an act, it's a gift, one that you give to yourself over and over again. Conclusion: embracing the freedom to live fully. As we age, life offers us an extraordinary gift: the opportunity to focus on what truly matters. It's a time to shed the burdens we've carried, to release the pain of the past, and to embrace the simplicity and beauty of the present moment. Letting go is not about losing, it's about gaining clarity, peace, and the freedom to live authentically. Each act of letting go is a step closer to the joy and contentment you deserve. When you release resentment, you reclaim your peace. When you let go of past sorrows, you make room for gratitude. When you walk away from meaningless relationships, you strengthen the bonds that truly nourish your soul. When you release empty pride, you find humility and grace. And when you forgive yourself and others, you open your heart to the profound freedom that only love and compassion can bring. These years, though they may feel like the autumn of life, are filled with the rich harvest of wisdom, resilience, and perspective. By letting go of what no longer serves you, you create space for what does. Deeper connections, quieter joys, and a peace that transcends the noise of the world. Imagine a life where your heart feels light, your mind is unburdened, and your spirit is free to roam wherever it pleases. That life is possible, but it begins with the courage to let go. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. Every breath you take is a reminder that the present is a gift waiting to be unwrapped. Open it, cherish it. In the end, what matters most is not what you've held on to, but what you've released to make room for love, joy, and peace. This chapter of your life is yours to write, unburdened by the past and filled with the promise of what's still to come. You have the power to step forward, lighter and freer than ever before, into a life that is not just lived, but truly embraced. Let go and let yourself fully live. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms,